is going on, everyone? So by the time you watch this video, I am somewhere off in the middle of nowhere. So I've recorded this video a couple of weeks or so in advance, but I figured that would kind of give me an opportunity to do kind of like what the film reveal videos are at the end of the trip. In this case, it's kind of talking about the expectations leading into the trip. So if we go back to my winter trip, it was kind of a strange trip because the weather had me kind of feeling like I was being rushed. I didn't really feel like I was being productive. But by the time the trip was done, I had 8 photos from 9 scenes that I photographed. So there was 9 scenes I photographed, of which 8 became like portfolio grade shots. And that's a really high number for me. I mean, if I get 1 or 2 really solid photos from a trip, I'm really happy with it. It is not to say that all 8 of those photos were really solid shots. Some are stronger than others, but each of them has kind of earned a spot in my portfolio. And my goal for the end of the year is to have about 10 solid keeper shots. So if I have, about 3 photos from each trip, I'm kind of getting into that sort of territory. But now that I'm kind of going into my spring trip and I already have 8 decently solid shots under my belt, I think it gives me a little bit more flexibility, gives me a little bit more breathing room in a way. And my New Year's resolution for this year is to be more in the moment when taking photos. And so my spring trip, I was just checking the weather, and it's still, by the time I'm recording this right now, it's going to be about a week until I'm in the field. But the weather looks like it's going to be pretty decent for what I want to do. And so I think my goal this year is to head into some canyons I want to backpack into and just spend a good amount of time there. Because what I've been doing in the years past is I'll get down there, I'll expose some film, and then maybe the weather isn't quite what I was hoping, and then I just kind of go back to my truck and move on somewhere else. Or maybe I expose all my film, I don't have any film left, and instead of sticking around and exploring and sort of enjoying my time and further kind of checking out other areas nearby, which is something I always regret not doing, but instead of that, I go back to my truck and kind of move on to somewhere else. So I'm hoping that I will have a bit more flexibility on this trip, because in reality, I want to get a lot of photos from this trip, but I don't have that pressure weighing on my shoulders, which is kind of nice. And I think that the main challenge will be, if my system works well for recharging batteries for the video and how everything else kind of works out. But also, I exposed some film on the Intrepid 8x10 today, some black and white film, and I'm going to develop it later tonight, just to make sure everything's all good, no light leaks or anything like that, just so I can make sure I have full confidence in the camera. But I will see you guys on the flip side. Hopefully everything is going well out in the field, and hopefully I'll bring back some cool stories, some good photos, and I will actually be kind of in the moment on the trip. So until next time, we'll see you around next week.